Good evening, Fernwood. It's your TV pal Neil, and it's time for some more late-night variety madness with another episode of Fernwood Tonight. If you're just seeing my face for the first time, thanks for tuning in. This is a reaction show where we watch the show together and then we talk about it because people like talking and I'm a people, and maybe you are too. And if that sounds like it's your bag, then please stick around. Also, if you're a people who feels like you have the want to help this channel grow, then maybe you have the also want to visit Patreon and, get your early access to episodes, uncut stuff, and also, monthly updates, because those are things that people want. Hey, today we are watching episode 57 from September 20th, 1977. Yesterday got into some, it was the 70s, so that's what it got into. Let's see what that was about. Barth Gimble started the show by saying that he wanted to peg the episode's humor on the tastes of the audience that were there. So he told a very nice joke about Emerson and Thoreau, and then another joke about a also being... Mirthmaker Tommy Marinucci wrote a number blending the feel of the 1950s with the 1970s in a song called Skateboard Angel. Then we bring on insurance specialist Rafael Manzano, who is here to tell people how to lower their homeowners insurance by renting people of color. Radio DJ Larry Guy stops by for another visit and has a plan to help kids work out their deepest, darkest problems without losing out on dance time. He takes some questions from the audience, and that's where we run out of time, everyone. So I think we had plenty yesterday. Let's see what today is about.
Tonight from Fernwood, Fernwood Tonight, 30 minutes of whatever, coming to you almost live with your host for tonight, Mr. Barth Gimble. Tonight, Barth's guest will be the Mission Army Singers trying to get with it. Margaret Woodbury and her old Crocs. Chuck Jetson with a way to meet other people who can't do it either. And Happy Kind and the Mirth Makers. And me, I'm Jerry Hubbard. And now here's your host and mine, Mr. Barth Gimble.
That's a record. Thank you very much. Boy, welcome to Fernwood Tonight. My name is Barth Gimble, but don't clap, we already set a record. Nope. Okay, thanks. Usually at the beginning of the show, I'll come out here and spend a few moments just telling you some of the interesting things that happen to me in my everyday Fernwood life. As luck would have it, nothing interesting happened today, so we're going to go right into our show, okay? I just spent the whole day palling around with this gentleman, actually, Mr. Jerry Hubbard, and it was kind of dull. Oh. I guess so.
But I found it kind of exciting. I thought you were having a good time. How many times can you go into a pharmacy and find a girl who doesn't know how to make a chocolate soda and lets you get back and mix your own? That was something.
That was a lot of fun, yeah. And I remember you telling me all over and over again how you found the car you have and how you paid for it with just, a lot less than you expected.
Sure.
You told me that, must have told me that 5-6 times. That story was great. You got it clearer each time. Love it. We have guests. That's what the show's all about. And my first guests tonight are really no strangers to those of you who hang out on the street corners in Fernwood. They, I guess that's a lot of you. They run the Mission Hall here in town and play their music on the sidewalk. Lately, however, the Mission has not been doing too well. I remember there was something in the Courier about that. Some say it's because we have a better class of unemployed now. But welfare being as lucrative as it is, they're becoming too proud to take handouts. That's the problem there.
Also, another problem, they opened up an unemployment office here in Fernwood, and that gave employment to enough people to almost wipe out unemployment.
Yeah, I know.
They had to close up and throw all those poor people out of employment again.
Right, exactly. So they just don't want to take money from anyone, except from the taxpayers, of course. But others say that the Mission simply doesn't relate to the 70s, that they've been living in the past, you know. Well, to change all that, the Mission Army Band is updating their image. They're starting a program of playing contemporary music in order to appeal to the youth of today, who are, after all, the unemployed of tomorrow. Absolutely. So, here with their brand new sound are the Mission Army Singers. Let's hear it for them, huh? Fantastic.
Wow, that was wonderful.
Terrific. Have a seat.
Brother or sister or whatever. Makes me want to run out and sin just to be saved.
That second hour of rehearsal made all the difference, didn't it? That's great. I hope your new image pays off for you guys. What other tunes are you working on, any?
Well, this is just the beginning, Barth. We're also into Jethro Tull and Frampton. And we're woodshedding some head charts on some Zeppelin and Stone Cuts. We should have the act together in a couple of weeks.
Well, fantastic. And we'll still be able to see you out on the street in front of the Mission, right?
Oh, well, we'll still be there during the day, but in the evenings, we're going to be playing indoors at our new All Saints Disco Bar.
Disco Bar.
Well, if you're still saving bad girls, save a few for Barth and me, and we'll be down. Is it okay to kid like that?
Oh, you
kid like that?
I never know. Because they're not legal priests.
Oh.
Really what I call salvation. Listen, incidentally, I say he's not a legal priest or a man of real cloth, although this is actual cloth. I do happen to know, though, that you can recite a Bible verse for every letter of the alphabet. At least he claims he can. Is that true? Shall we test him? Give us letter.
Q. Quench not the spirit, despise not prophesying, prove all things, hold fast to that which is good.
Gee.
X. Except a man be born again, he cannot... John 3:3.
Gee.
Gee,
No,
God
we'll be right back after these words. Stay with us. We're back. The Fernwood Art Museum has been the cultural center of the Tri-County area ever since it was built way back in 1965. However, 6 weeks ago, scandal pretty much transformed this fixture of high artistic integrity into a laughable, downright hilarious Tri-County joke. Here to tell us about it is one of the museum's original founders, Mrs. Margaret Woodbury. Hello, Mrs. Woodbury, or Pookie, as your friends call you. We won't go into why. Okay. Tell us, so what prompted you to start the museum some 12 years ago?
Well, Barth, as you know, I have traveled a great deal.
Sure.
And I've collected all manner of artifacts and artistic relics. So when my late husband passed away, I decided to donate the whole thing to the public. After all, one man's attic is another man's museum.
Sure.
So true, so true. Also, one man's attic is another man's extra bedroom for the children. Or one man's attic is another man's playroom. This so often happens, one man's attic is another man's attic.
There's a sledding accident when he was 6. Mrs. Woodbury, what was the nature of the scandal that has now pretty much rocked the local art community?
Well, Boss, it is a shameful and a shocking, painful story. About 6 weeks ago, it became clear that the director of the museum, a Mr. Wallace Parkin, was misusing public funds. He was purchasing clearly fraudulent art objects and putting untold numbers of the taxpayers' hard-earned dollars into his own pocket.
Wow.
Lucky he didn't convert them into $20 bills. He could have stuffed a lot more in there.
Here we have a...
Oh, this is another one?
Oh, yes, this is an oil painting of Whistler's mother,
Sure.
which was purchased at great expense to the taxpayers. But we figured, well, if Whistler's mother, I mean, after all, an investment like that, that's safe enough for the people of Fernwood. Sure. And so, what the hell?
We can say that.
However, this time, we only had to remove one layer of paint, and here is what we found.
Boy. Now this 20... There's no way these numbers could be the dates that it was painted, isn't it?
No way.
Now, have you ever considered that maybe this was the way that Mr. Whistler painted the painting originally? But the fraud may have been with the artist, not this innocent piece of art.
You can have that for your attic. Okay? Is that all right?
Well, we may need it for evidence, but certainly Mr. Hubbard may have it.
Okay, last but not least, you said you wanted to save this for last?
Yes, this is an outrage, a true outrage. We became very, very suspicious of this Michelangelo bust of David.
Yeah.
When we perceived this thin, barely visible line about the base of the throat here, as you see. Now, after agonizing appraisal, we decided to remove it, which we did.
Can I help you here?
Oh,
Nope, I didn't do that.
It comes right off.
Oh, yes, indeed it does. And we were appalled to discover that the esophageal cavity contained Tootsie Rolls.
I see. There they are. I wonder what it was used for. It's too heavy to carry around on Halloween.
Are these fake Tootsie Rolls?
Then it's not totally a fraud.
No, there again, you may be looking for fraud where fraud does not exist.
Mr. Hubbard, you have an uncanny, fascinating, but adolescently awkward and inarticulate ability to grasp the painfully obvious.
Thank you. That's very important in this business.
That's right here. 2 hits are better than 1.
No, it's cutting down.
Jerry's got a pretty good head on your shoulders there, Jerry.
I'm just beside myself.
Mrs. Woodbury's good. Jerry, who's your dry cleaner? You don't have a dry cleaner?
Oh, my God.
You do now. Mrs. Woodbury, good luck in straightening out the Fernwood Art Museum. And if you ever need any samples of old pre-Columbian relics, I think we have one over here. You can just take them over there. Actually, oh, that's the one that came off. Isn't that a shame? I was hoping for the other. May we keep these?
Oh, yes, by all means.
Because I have a thing in my house where I put the air conditioner and the darn window won't stay open. This would be perfect. Okay? Great. Nice talking to you. We'll be back in a few moments. Thank you very much. Happy Kind, the Mirth Makers. Can we have a nice hand for them? Along with those wonderful mission singers. I decided to drag this thing out of mothballs here and do a little something special for you. A lot of people have heard about my problems in Miami. No one heard about my successes, and I figured, well, why not toot your own horn? And I don't play horn, so I brought the guitar. And I don't toot that either. I play it, and I will in a moment. I just want to say that while I was in Miami, I did have some pretty good success, and I wrote a song about my favorite place up until moving to Fernwood, which at that point was Miami, but is no longer for so many reasons, which I think Jerry's gone to great lengths to tell you about. In the meantime, here's a little song about Miami. I hope you enjoy. Can I have that mood lighting? That's perfect. Is that too much? Is that good? Is that good? Does it feel like Miami right now? Okay. Can someone say one thing in Yiddish so I feel at home? Just kidding. Just kidding. Trying to lighten things up because the songs are stiff. Okay. Hope you enjoy it. Here's a tune that's kind of lazy. It's not smart and it sure ain't crazy. And when you hear the melody, you know you might get ill. It's what you'd hear in elevators in Brazil and inside your hotel in Miami. Spell Miami and then ask me why. Am I getting tan? Or am I getting freckles? I hope it's tan, cause I'm sure spending shekels. Sit beside the ocean here in my concrete box. The only fish around are Nova Scotia locks. And they tell me it's swell in Miami. Spell Miami and then ask me why. Am I feeling bad? Oh man, I can't believe it. The fun I've had, and I'm gonna have to leave it. I'll go back up to Terrytown and tell the Bagel Ranch I found a great location for another branch. It's right inside a hotel in Miami. Spell Miami and then ask me why. Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? Everybody sing along on that, be nice, okay? Come on, Abby. Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? That's great. A little louder now, okay? Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? $10 for the one that sings the loudest. How about that, okay? Come on. Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? Make it $20. Here we go, $20. Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? Okay. That's enough. We have a winner. We have a winner. The louder you can sing when you have one of those microphones, I always win that 20. It's incredible. Thank you very much. My next guest has one of the most successful new business ventures in the Tri-County area. Perhaps you read the in-depth biography of him this past week in the What to Do on Earth This Weekend section of our very own Fernwood Courier. Please welcome Mr. Chuck Jackson.
I'll just give you the straight handshake.
Okay.
Will Boris, Jer, and single people everywhere. Hello, Pete.
Hey, what a generous, kind of warm-hearted greeting. That's great.
Will Boris, We're all in this big happy game together, aren't we? So let's have fun and all pass go and collect the $200 of life as one.
Okay, Chuck, why don't you just get on with it and tell us about your new enterprise, the Singles Mingles Club, I think you're calling it.
Con mucho gusto, Bart. It all began about 4 months ago down at the Apache Motel. Specifically in rooms 4 and 6. You see, they had a connecting door that, hey...
Don't touch me.
Okay. No one knew about it. No one knew about the door. So, it was such a fulfilling and just a good accident that I thought, hey, why not on purpose?
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Right? I'm sorry. Okay. Well, that's where it began, you know, and it was a good time.
It just came to you kind of in a rush, as you probably put it.
Kind of a mellow rush.
Oh, that's great. Dare I ask, what exactly is the philosophy of the Singles Mingles Club?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because it is an interesting question. Jer, listen, okay? Hey, mellow people everywhere. This is how it happened. It's simple. We're born single.
Right?
We die single. So let's have fun being single. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think so.
It's all pretty much easy that way if you're single.
Yep. Now, this is open to anyone, this club?
Yes, it is. It's open to everyone. Everybody who can go. Is she single?
My guess would be yes.
You know, the Singles Mingles Club is kind of a place where you can come and be yourself. You know, and I can tell you're yourself. Because, hey.
Is this a sectarian or a non-sectarian organization, or what is it exactly?
It's exactly a non-sectarian organization.
Well, that's good news.
That's interesting, because I would think that secretaries would fill a big part in this sort of...
Jerry, why don't you just mellow out a tad yourself? That doesn't mean secretaries, okay? That's talking about religions. You understand? Can you tell us a little bit about some of the club's activities?
Ave plaisir, Bart. You know, right now we're currently located at Dilson's Bakery.
That's Dilson's day-old bakery, I think it's...
That's right. Well, it's now closed.
Right.
And we're now there. And we've been open about, like I said, about 4 months. And we're open every night.
For every month. About 4 months.
Well, Bart, let's get on back to the subject, okay?
Sorry.
Okay. We're open 7 days a week, and there's dancing every single night.
Still plenty of warm, fresh buns down there.
Sounds almost really too mellow to deal with, Chuck, but maybe you might want to take Mrs. Woodbury down there. I don't know. You certainly wouldn't have to feed her because she hardly even finished her Tootsie Roll that she had here before. So she's obviously not hungry. It sounds like a good time. Would you like to go with him?
I have a date, but it's okay. You're invited. Please come. Hey, Jer.
You're interested in art, and going out with him could be an art in itself, I'm sure. And I think you're only 35 pounds and 4 inches away from a great weekend yourself. Okay, we'll be right back after these words. Well, I wish we had time to chat to you people all night. It would really be nice, and it'd be fun to chat to you, as I said, and with you, or at you, whatever. But maybe you can come back and visit us another time. Would that be okay? Mrs. Woodbury, best of luck with your work at the Art Museum.
Thank you, Bart.
Good night, everybody.
Also appearing on tonight's show were Tim Isbell, Scott Stone, David Romano, Amy Albani, Francis Russell, Darlene Romano as the Mission Army Singers, Sue Ann Gilfillan as Margaret Woodbury, and Jim Greenleaf as Chuck Jackson.
Well, today is a nice light episode with like nothing to make me think too deeply. We start with Barth saying that usually he'll talk about things that are interesting in his life in Fernwood, but no, nothing's interesting, so they're just going to cut forward. It's like that very slow news day. I don't remember the exact date, but there was literally a day when nothing was reported in the news, way before the 24-hour news cycle that we've been living in for the last, I don't know, 30 years or so. Even Jerry has like his sort of normal stories that, of course, are not that interesting. Then we bring out the Mission Army Singers, who seem to be doing a take on the Salvation Army, but mostly that they are religious singers who will sing out on the sidewalks, and they're doing a version of Da Do Run Run, which I believe had recently been made famous by Leif Garrett. And it was originally made a hit in the 50s by the Crystals. I mainly remember that song from my time learning musical improv. It was a famous game that was played quite often in terms of rhyming. I met him on a Monday and my heart stood still, and then we would rhyme with the word still as we went down the verses. It's a pretty fun, dumb game. I don't know if I can find a YouTube example for you, but I'll try. Then we bring out Mrs. Margaret Woodbury, who is there to talk about some scandals that have happened at the museum in Fernwood. Apparently, there's another museum in Fernwood. It's an art museum this time, not a wax museum. However, Mrs. Woodbury is there to tell us that there have been some very big problems because they were run by an embezzler. Some of the art pieces don't seem to be real. First, we see a version of Whistler's Mother that, when we look in the corner, seems to have been painted by numbers. And then we bring out a bust of Caesar that holds Tootsie Rolls. So I don't think it's an authentic, bust. Well, I mean, it is a bust, but it's not authentic and ancient and whatever you would expect. Then Barth Gimbel does his ode to Miami. Am I in heaven or am I in Miami? And that was just a really sweet tune. He's really, every time he shows up, he just surprises with the amount of musical talent he's got. I gotta give it to him. Then we bring out our final guest, Mr. Chuck Jackson, who has started a singles resort, or a singles meetup at the very least, in Fernwood. He also seems to be bothering Barth Gimbel quite a lot by touching him without consent, and maybe that's something that we're only in modern day getting used to. It's a little bit of making fun of the overweight guy. I'm not sure exactly what makes this guy seem so greasy. Maybe it is the 1970s attire. It was the 1970s, so everyone was a little bit greasy at that point. So that's just where we are with this show. So now let's give a second clue to the show that will be starting in just over a week and a half. Again, we're watching MASH when this channel becomes Dating Myself. I've already mentioned that it's an anime that is from the 1970s. It's a science fiction superhero-ish thing. I said that there's been a lot of flair on the show. I might also want to say that I can drop another clue. Sure, I can. Well, actually, there are no shuriken in the show, but there are, sort of kind of ninjas, at least in the title. Well, that's what we're talking about. That's the clue for today. We'll get more tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching with me, everyone. Thank you so much for leaving your thoughts, feelings, and impressions in the comments. Thank you to my top tier Patreon supporters, because you are stars. Sure you are. Sure I can. Anyway, we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.